On this episode of Beer, Blues, and BS, it's Kidder, myself, and a surprise guest. In fact, it was such a surprise, I didn't even know they were coming. So, enjoy that. As for what we're talking about, we're talking some more trucking. Gonna talk a little wrestling. Yeah, it's a good time. And it's even better now that you're here. So, pull up a seat, pour yourself a beverage. You're in a good place. Welcome to the show.
It's Howard Blues and V. Mark Kidder. Pour a cold beverage, pull up a seat, enjoy time with friends.
Triple B! Well, the Triple B sucks. Okay? Come on.
Whatever, man. This is Beer, Blues, and BS. Online at beerbluesbs.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast that is often described as eloquently inaccurate. I'm your host, Howard Blues, here, as always, with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Kidder, I really do want to know how you're doing, because I heard you on the radio today. You sounded a bit flat, man. Everything okay over there in Kidder World?
I sounded flat? Is that a bald joke?
No. It was, I was listening to the radio, and you came on, and you were talking about, it was right after TNT by AC/DC. And it just, you just didn't seem to have the usual, like, Mark Kidder radio energy. It seemed a bit flat, man. Like you were there, but maybe you're tired, or, first 30 minutes of the show had like already drained your soul. It was a little concerning, man.
Well, the truth be told, the air conditioning has been out in the complete station for about 2 weeks. So the control room floats between 83 and 87 degrees. That's with the window open, because it's colder outside than it is in there. Mm-hmm.
That would make some sense as to the drained feeling on that. So, but otherwise,
it's really bad when
how you doing, my brother?
Sweating. Well, I mean, I'm clearly getting my summer shape from being in the sauna. So there's that. Just working on my figure, working on my fitness. But otherwise, end of another week. It's that time of the year again. We have things to discuss on this show. Things and things. So that's a plus.
Yeah.
How about yourself? How are you doing? That's what everybody really cares about.
I don't think so, but Kidder, I'm just coming off of a 19-hour workday. Yesterday, I traveled to a pair of sites. I first started at the Chateau de Moras out in Medora. I had a computer I needed to drop off along with some store merch. And just to get caught up with my site supervisor out there and see how things are going. And that turned into a longer visit than I had expected, because we're having some sinkhole issues out there. And just as I'm about to leave, our guy who cleans out the septic system showed up. Wanted to talk to my site soup. And it's like, I should hear this. And so almost an hour later, I finally get out of Medora. So that was great. Traveled all the way up to the Missouri Yellowstone Confluence Interpretive Center up by Williston. And again, checked out the site, dropped off some store merch, just kind of helped with some overall things up there. But the main point of the trip was I was attending a meeting of the 6th Infantry. They're a reenactment group. Does a lot of work at Fort Buford, which is up it's like a quarter of a mile from Mysick. It's also one of my sites. And there's a long history of the 6th Infantry and the Bismarck part of the agency butting heads. So this was kind of we've had some leadership change at the site. I thought it'd be a good time to introduce myself and try to start improving the relationship. But their meeting was scheduled for 7:30 at night, which means I didn't get done until about 10 o'clock last night. And because I had no real reason to stay over, and because I've had just terrible luck when I have stayed in Williston with them giving me the government rate and not charging me sales tax, and I didn't really want to then have to put up with like the 3 emails and a phone call that it usually takes to clear that up. I'm like, I'm just going to go home. So I arrived back here in Bismarck this very morning at 2 a.m. and got to bed by about 2:30. And Junior woke me up at about 8 o'clock. So, but yeah, all said and done. I worked a 19-hour workday, got about 5.5 hours of sleep, then went to work because there were some things that were like pressing deadlines. It's like, so I worked for like 4 hours today and then came home and just didn't do a whole lot because I'm dragging. As people haven't maybe figured out by the first part of this show, I was dragging.
Mm-hmm.
So try to keep the energy up for to get through this. So
well, I just closed my eyes and everything went blurry there when I reopened them, so that's nice.
oh boy, it sounds
be
like
a great show, everybody. Thanks for joining
Yeah.
us. Strap on in for the next as long as we make it. You'll either see the ambulance paramedic crew showing up carrying me out or Howard falling onto his keyboard. What happens first? You just stick with us. It's anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, man, it's a show with some high stakes. Although I won't fall on my keyboard, that would be a pretty long fall. More than likely, I would fall into this palette of paint that's in front of me. You know,
People fall weirdly when they lose consciousness. So, I mean, anything is possible. You might even fall into the teepee and people will wonder where you went. And you'll wake up refreshed like nobody's business because nobody will have bothered you for 12 to 14 hours.
I'd probably wake up to some kid screaming because they woke up and couldn't find me.
Oh,
So,
no, you
get her,
can't hear that in the teepee. There's some proof.
Not this
Yes,
one.
Drinking.
It's not that expensive of that. But I was going to say it's time for everybody's favorite segment of the show. What's on tap? And Kidder, you're already digging in the fridge, so might as well let you. But now he's reorganizing his fridge. For some reason, he's alphabetizing the cans. This is a level of detail that I don't normally see in the beer fridge.
Too much time. Too much time.
Well, I was just trying to stall Kidder until like you sat till I see you actually grab a beer and stand up and like you did right now. So Kidder, what are you having? What did you pull out of that magical
Thanks.
fridge?
The Wonderland. This one apparently got a little angry too. There's a little right at the top there that it's trying to seep out too early. You can't let that happen. I'd also like to mention that it seems the internet is slowing you down even more than what you're already slowing tonight. I don't know if it's happening for both of us, but good golly, in 2023, I swear, why can we not have enough internet in the alphabet business that makes quadrillions per year and has all of our information, even if we say no? I'm just wondering.
I will say, Kidder, it is slow on my end too. You are coming off very much like a dub of a Godzilla movie.
Great. That makes two of us. So, future Howard is, one, either going to really love this, or two, leave it as it is, because nobody really cares, because nobody watches this anyway. So what's on tap? This was from Local Geek, and I believe, and his network of spies across the country to get us every state. Piers Howard Blues is thinking along them same lines. Although mine looks like it's in high definition and yours looks like it's coming from a bad Godzilla movie.
Do 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 do.
So these are 4.5% alcohol by volume. They are from Webo, Montana, in Webo County. That's the drink we're gonna have. Fat Kid Creamsicle Ale. I don't know if they're saying something about us.
You know what? I was actually going to make that same joke there, Kidder. It's like, what is the local geek implying, giving us this? I'm going to hope that this is my first time trying anything from the Beaver Creek Brewery, and I chose this one, Kidder, because it's a full pint, and I'm parent in charge again this weekend. So this is my one. So it better be good, local geek. Better be good.
Government warning. According to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcoholic beverages during pregnancy because of the risk of birth defects. 2. Consumption of alcoholic beverages impairs your ability to drive a car or operate machinery and may cause health problems. To that we say, bottoms up, and local geek, thanks for the round. What do you got in the sniffer?
I couldn't really sniff anything.
Smells sour to me.
Yeah.
That's a sense of an IPA. Okay, let's give it a shot. I'm kind of confused.
It's got like a slight sour, but not a real strong sour. But it's got like a creamy aftertaste, hint of orange.
Mm-hmm.
But it just kind of feels like a mess when you... Yeah, but I don't know about you, but it feels like a mess on the palate, you know?
There's a lot happening all at once.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this show. A lot happening all at once.
Except for the long, awkward pauses that Future Howard will eventually edit out so that we sound nice and smooth.
We've been there for dramatic effect.
It's okay.
I like my radio shows.
Maybe... I would rate this Kidder... maybe like a 3.1.
I was thinking 2.893218.5. A little lower on my scaling. But not by much.
Sure.
Fractions.
For a second when you were reading off that number, I thought you were going to go with an 8675309 joke in there.
No, because local geek ain't got no Jenny. What?
Nothing. This leg is messing with me. Like I feel like I'm stomping all over you every time you try to say anything. So now I'm leaving extra pauses, and I mean it's not as bad as the leg we had in episode 2 of this show, but this is kind of the worst leg we've had in a while.
Quite some time. So let's try this.
Guess I'm all by myself now. D-Mark Kidder has left the show. Welcome back to that same old Google Meet that you just left.
Oh, and a whole lot of the same.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Only the names have all changed since you've been around. And I'm going to stop there before whoever has the musical rights to Welcome Back Kotter comes after me.
Sure.
Although you would think that they would be
Kind of annoyed.
happy that we were doing it. Bringing it back.
Yeah, bring the rights back. Yeah.
I just meant to, like, the fact that anybody's talking about Welcome Back Kotter.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be the next big Hollywood remake. Welcome Back Kotter. Did you ever watch that one, Kidder?
No.
Neither did I. I know John Travolta was in it. And I know the theme song, and that's about it. Well, let's try and save this train wreck. And,
well, that's not really going to work, so we might as well just call it a night. I'm very curious as to what and why. Because, as you can see, it even kicked off my weather stream for some reason. Which,
hey,
how happy that makes me.
Oh, you're always thrilled when that happens. I was going to say, Kidder, but I don't know if this is true, so you can correct this as you probably will. But last night, as I was about to leave Wilson, I stopped at a gas station, pick up a beverage for the road, and as I was walking into said gas station, a couple of young ladies walked out, and I overheard their conversation, and they're like, apparently Dickinson's in a tornado warning right now, which was like, great, I'm heading towards Dickinson. But no tornado warning?
No.
I will say it was some really nice lighting. Like, I got a great light show all the way across most of my drive home. There's that. But I was just curious if that was accurate or not. So, here we go. Kidder confirms Howard was in no danger.
I mean, there weren't any tornadoes. The fact of you being in or not being in danger, that's a whole separate issue.
Yeah, that is probably true. So, Kidder, I see you got your weather stream back up and running.
Yeah, just restarted it, so now it has a different link. So, stop by youtube.com/Tues13, TUEZ13, and click like on the KRD and Eyewitness Weather Now stream because it's a new stream.
So, Kidder, should we hop into the big announcement that occurred this week?
Are we talking wrestling?
We are talking wrestling.
Oh, I thought you might have wanted to wait. I mean, there's other things, and I didn't think you noticed that I was wearing a shirt or something like that. So,
I noticed.
I didn't. Oh, really? Oh.
I did.
Oh.
I did. I noticed.
And the backdrop too, with right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, my original smooth transition, I was going to make a comment about the T-shirt, and then in my kind of delusional state and the fact that it's taken us this long to get here, had forgotten that I was going to use the T-shirt as my transition point. So,
and what would you say about said T-shirt?
Well, I was just going to say, Kidder, I happened to notice that you are wearing a knees to faces shirt, and that is probably in celebration of the big announcement that was made this week. See?
Hell yeah!
There we go.
And if you're watching this, it means that tomorrow night, TNT, 7 p.m. Central Time, the best in the world returns to the ring in AEW Saturday Night Collision or AEW Saturday Collision or AEW Collision. Whatever they settle on, and it's kind of like some of the old WCW logoing with the red and yellow. So there's that.
It's very close in the logoing to WCW. In fact, I've seen a couple of things comparing the two.
It's like the classic, hey, let me work off of your homework. I'll change it enough so they don't know.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about it since it came up, but I was going to say, Kid, because I mean, you've done quite a bit of graphic design in your many different careers. And I was just curious, how do you feel about this logo? And, you know, would you say that it is bordering on like plagiarism in such a way?
Well, I mean, the text itself is different. So in a lot of ways, in the potential for plagiarism, copyright law, they may have a chance due to its similarities. However, if they have already reached some kind of agreement in the background, or it's been long enough without that trademark being placed that it is no longer in effect. A couple different things that could happen. Kind of depends on the company, like WCW, i.e. WWE these days, who owns media rights and essentially all of WCW. So, a couple things that are up in the air about that.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious what your take would be on it, because when I saw it, I'm like, wow, that is like very similar, and I wonder how the WWE feels about, you know, that logo, being that they basically bought WCW and therefore would have the rights. But
I'm sure they don't really care, or we'll find out in about 6 months or less.
I mean, to me, if I were them, I just wouldn't care. You do that, you just become more of the heel of the wrestling industry. Getting back to, with the main announcement, Kidder, so CM Punk's coming back.
Yes.
And it's going to be interesting to see what this run with Punk looks like.
Very interested to see.
Yeah, I even saw that they were, at least I saw in one thing, that even Ace Steel is back with this.
Apparently he's been back for a few months or even more at this point.
Yeah.
Just hadn't been announced for a while. Things have been worked out. There's non-disclosure agreements that have been signed between all parties, and they have separated and moved on, apparently.
It'll be interesting. I don't know if you've heard anything about like who they might pair him up with for a first program. Any
Chris
leading
Jericho's
thoughts?
name has been floating around. Also, Samoa Joe is in there. And there's a couple other names too. Even, I was going to say Rusev, but yes. Could be a couple other individuals. Yes.
Yeah. I was just kind of curious because I haven't heard, like, I've heard a few names going over, but like one of the things I haven't heard is like titles moving over. You know, like I haven't heard that any of the title holders are going to feature prominently, or are they going to try to do what WWE tried to do, where it's like, if you're a title holder, you can appear on either show.
That's what it looks like at this point, where you're somewhat stuck to a show, but it's not preventing you from going to another show.
All these questions because I haven't been following. So
and
how do you feel about a brand split in
tomorrow?
AEW?
I don't like it. I hate the brand split to begin with. I don't want it. Don't want to see it. I want nothing to do with it. It doesn't belong. Even with all of the roster that AEW has, they don't need a split because you kind of will see people on one show more than another, and so they're somewhat assigned to that show. Should really be the case for WWE as well, because they're already going away from the draft. It's a giant joke to me, and I hated the draft. I talked about it. In fact, go back a few episodes to when we talk about the draft, because then you'll learn all about it in my 20-minute rant about it. So, needs to go away. AEW should just keep staying the course, keep doing the thing, and it is what it is.
I mean, I can see it. I know it's just terrible audio. I know they could see it or see a use for it with AEW just because their roster is so huge. So I could see a value to, hey, getting some people some extra screen time and such, but I don't know. I also, interesting, Kidder, I wonder if you've seen anything on this. I know that like WWE always gets criticized for like being part of the problem in there being too much wrestling content. You know, this is another show that you're going to have to watch every week in order to keep up with all the storylines.
Yeah.
You know.
So it will be a 2-hour program. There was a 3-hour Ring of Honor show, and people complained to Tony Khan that it was way too long and was drug out way too much. And basically he replied in a general sense that the message was received and they were trimming everything to 2 hours in that sense. I think 2 hours is about the right time for what they have going on, because the show Rampage Friday nights will be sticking around, and that show goes by very fast. It's the fastest hour in wrestling on television. I mean, it's true. And so that one feels like it's very, very crammed, where it could use an extra half hour or even a second hour. But if they're bringing on this show, I don't want another hour. Please don't put a different hour on. So we can keep the 2 hours there on Saturday, and I think that'll be just fine. Again, they do a really good job, in my opinion, of rotating people in and out of television. You have your stars on pretty much every week on at least one of the shows, and I think that's more than enough. You know, that's what we used to see back in the day when you watched Raw and when SmackDown started. You'd see the big stars at the time, and then each show had kind of their assigned talent, if you will. And then obviously the Velocity and Heat shows, depending if it was Raw or SmackDown's talent pool. The NXT back in the day. I would almost, I mean, they're not going to do it, but NXT could almost go back to not airing on television. I mean, enough people watch it, clearly. I don't watch it. I don't follow it. They've been also sending people down from the main roster again, including Baron Corbin and Mustafa Ali. So they have returned, even though Mustafa Ali is going to be on SmackDown next week. So I don't really know how they're doing that. Because again, brand split, but it doesn't really matter. There's no point to it. So, Saturday Collision, officially, if you're watching this on a Friday when it debuted, thanks for joining us, by the way. And tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time, Saturday the 17th. Bam! TNT, set your DVR. I will be setting mine very shortly because it's not available on the 17th yet. So, ready to go. I'm excited. It's in Chicago from the United Center, so it should be a pumped up atmosphere. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. I will say one thing that I was hearing was that the ticket sales for the show had not been all that great, and have picked up a little bit, and should hopefully have picked up now that they have officially announced that Punk is actually on the show. So seems like the Chicago crowd would not have been too into tuning in if Punk wasn't there. So
Yeah,
just to share.
sounds about right.
It will be it'll be interesting.
In WWE, tonight on SmackDown, they celebrated Roman Reigns' 1,000-day reign as undisputed WWE Universal Champion. And by doing so, they showed a whole bunch of clips throughout the past however many years and months that he has been champion. It's hard to tell because he's only defended the titles like twice. So there's that. But 1,000 days, technically 1,006 as of this recording. So you can do the math if you're watching this as it's released. And Triple H came out first to honor the 1,000-day reign as champion. And something that hasn't been done in over 40 years, apparently. And brand new championship belt debuted, combining the WWE and Universal Championship into the WWE Undisputed Championship. Finally.
Well,
I think the belt isn't good.
Oh, like it's not a good looking belt.
It's basically the same, and then they mirrored some color.
I was gonna say I do like the name. I'll give it that. Just because like I was never a fan of like Universal Champion, not a name that I was like thrilled over. Yeah, I mean I kind of figured that they were going to do that eventually because at some point, at some time, they will put somebody else in that championship position. And I don't think they necessarily want them to have try and carry two belts around all the time. Now we know.
I happen to send you a screenshot of the new belt. So then you can see how the more things change, the more they stay the same.
I am pulling this up right now.
Just, I know for editing purposes, I didn't want to actually toss it up on the screen and make this thing even worse because, well, we know how it is already.
It's okay. It's not bad, but I don't know. It's not my favorite. Little too heavy on the gold, if you ask me. And by that, like you look at the heavyweight title, it's even that is a little too much gold. I don't know. Maybe my eyes are getting worse, but it just looks like a giant hubcap of gold. And such. This one. Yeah. I like it better than the red and blue that they were doing for the titles, so I'll give it that. That's better than the spinner belt.
The more belts that they have that are the same, the more I miss that spinner belt. I don't know why. Just because it was different, I guess. I think I miss the U.S. spinner belt the most.
I actually caught a little bit of an interview where they were talking with Edge, and he was talking about how when he finally got the title, they told him, "Oh yeah, we're going to do a custom belt," and he was like, "Great!" And he went home and he kind of drew up a little sketch of a design and he brought it in. It's like, "Here's what I'm thinking," and they're like, "Well, that looks that looks fine, but I think we're just gonna just slap your R on the old belt." And he's like, "I hate the spinner belts." So Edge, not a fan of the old spinner belt.
Now, had there been the "In Punk We Trust" belt that I somehow found on the internet, again, probably just a fan rendering, but that belt was really, really awesome. Yeah. And a friend of mine, Jeremy, actually has a Cody Rhodes tribute belt that he had custom created. That's kind of based off the Winged Eagle belt.
Interesting.
It was very cool.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, like, I don't know. I'm not I'm not one of these guys who's like, you'd never see me own a belt, right? And it's not that.
How do you keep your pants up? Thank you.
To me, I don't know. I've never been like so big into like the designs of the belts quite so much. I don't know. That's just not something I've ever been like super caring about, if that makes sense.
Sure.
You know, I know that there's some people who like they get really into the belts. They own their own, sets of belts. I'm not just talking about you, Kidder.
Oh, I raised my hand because I thought that was your cue for me to stand up, because the Smoking Skull belt is awesome, even though they changed the design on it to continue to be able to sell it. And then, of course, the ELCW World Championship.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not like I ever judged you for like owning belts, right? Cool if you want those. For me, I don't know. I don't know what I would do with them, and I'm not one to just like have stuff around that I never use.
Like Pacific Rim.
I'm gonna watch it eventually, man. Eventually.
I mean, if Lane actually still tuned in, then he could join me on that one. But
what was which title was it that CM Punk held for the longest time?
That was the WWE Championship.
Okay.
For I think is it on this shirt? Let me see. Ow! I just ripped my knee open. That's nice.
I say this because I think
it is this one. There you go.
Yeah, 366.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, I think that Roman Reigns just crossed that with the WWE title and just knocked Punk off of the top of that list. So, because I know we're talking about his 1,000 days, but he had the Universal Championship first, and for a longer chunk of that time, and has not held the WWE Championship all of that time. So, there you go. Fun fact for those who are caring or wanting to know. Yeah.
I'm working on it. I'm getting there. I'm helping with the facts once I actually get there.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I kind of stalled all I could. Yeah. Howard is trying to keep up with all of this.
All right. So on the list for overall combined reigns of the champion. Roman is at number 10 with over 543 days of the WWE title. He just passed Stone Cold with a collective 6. Roman Reigns is at a collective 4 reigns to make this number. And then Randy Savage, AJ Styles, and CM Punk. His total 462 between the 2 title reigns that he had. But on this run, he is at 425. And if I go back and go back and go back and go back, because it has them all listed in order, CM Punk, according to this, had 434 days.
I see we have some more news from the old wrestling world on the old run sheet.
Yeah. So we've talked about Dark Side of the Ring, and I don't believe you have had the opportunity to watch any of the episodes from the first 3 seasons, correct?
Incorrect.
Ah.
I have watched episodes of it. I haven't watched necessarily like full seasons of it, but I have seen bits and pieces here and there.
Gotcha.
So,
and what were some of the episodes you've seen? So we know.
See, I've watched the one on the murder Gino Hernandez. What else? There's the one on the Macho Man.
Ooh,
I
yeah.
watched. What's his name? He was an ECW guy who had a lot of issues.
Sabu?
No, it wasn't Sabu.
No.
I've watched the Plane Ride from Hell episode. As I said, just kind of like I catch like a couple each season. So,
Gotcha. Fair enough. Well, this past Tuesday, 4th season debuted. Brand new episodes rolling out. And this season 4 is starting off with the episode, or if you may remember, Chris Candido and Tammy Sitch, who we've talked about on this show many times, and talking about the teenage romance of them and the infidelity and drug addiction and mutual self-destruction, and Chris eventually making it to TNA Impact, suffering a leg injury, and then flying and having a blood clot form as a result of those several things, and him dying from the blood clot reaching his heart. So very, very interesting. And this is, kind of sad, right? Because the rise and fall of 2 people. Chris was a phenomenal wrestler, former WWF champion, and held several other championships in WWF and other promotions. And as you may remember, Tammy was known as Sunny. And at the advent of AOL and the internet, she was the most downloaded woman of the early 2000s. The fame was there, and then it got worse, and people she hung out with, and she got tangled up with Shawn Michaels for a while, and more addiction. And then, as we discussed in this show, she was driving, even though she wasn't supposed to be, and she was drunk again, and she killed a dude. She's still in prison. So kids, don't drink and drive. Just stay at home and don't take the knives out of the knife block and chase your significant other.
Yeah, no, they had quite the career and quite the downfall when you look at everything. I'll have to see if I can catch some of these in the fourth season. They're always like excellent and very well done. So,
they even did a 2-parter on Chris Benoit in season 2.
They have covered quite a few stories, and I've learned a lot. Like I think that's what kind of makes it interesting is hearing some of these stories from people who were there. Like the one, I don't know, did you see the one on Bruiser Brody at all?
Don't believe so.
That one is just a very fascinating, kind of story because he was one of these larger than life guys who people really liked. He was popular. He drew money, and he went down to Puerto Rico and angered one of the wrestlers there, and the wrestler literally came into the shower room after the match and stabbed him. And he died right there in the showers. Some of these stories that you never really kind of got to hear, people talk about and such. So it's an interesting series. I'll give it that.
Interestingly enough, it looks like you can watch it free on Pluto TV or the Roku channel, even through Hulu with subscription, Philo TV, buy it on YouTube, rent it on Amazon Prime, or watch it free on Tubi. There's some different options, even available on the internet that you can watch. And the next one comes out June 7th, and obviously as you're watching this, you're like, that was last week.
That's us.
There's more of them.
Always relevant.
At one point, we'll get it right.
Yeah, we will. We will. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe Tuesday. Tuesday seems good.
Maybe my knee will be fine in 2 weeks.
You keep complaining about your knee, kidder. What happened to your knee? What is up with the knee?
Oh, as I tried to turn around to show my shirt because I can't read the back of my shirt from here, and had my keyboard extended out here, and brought the knee up and just went straight along the old side of the front of that and just scraped the crap out of it. There's blood everywhere. Damn car crash. At some point, too, earlier this week or over last weekend, I don't know what I did on my other calf, but I have still a giant bruise the size of a softball. So, hey, I don't know what's happening. I could make a presidential joke there, but I'll refrain because this is a non-political show.
That is true.
I know what I'm talking about too, so we'll leave it at that.
If you know, you know. So
IYKYK. You gotta. Maybe that's why we're not getting the views, because we're not using the catchy hashtags and acronyms and emojis. Maybe we need to start throwing emojis into our titles for episodes. That'll bring the kids in.
Oh, okay. I'll
the young adults, I should say, that are now kids to us, as it was long enough ago that we graduated.
Noted. I will. I'll try to put some emojis in the titles.
Especially at the red dots and the stop signs and the eggplants and.
I really don't speak emojis, so this could go terribly wrong. I'm going to put up something and you're going to be like, Howard, take that down. You realize what you said? No.
Sorry, Howard wasn't completely sure. He decided to travel to Korea and try and speak the language.
Yeah, I'm just not a big emoji user. Never have been.
Hashtag.
It's just one of those where it's like it adds to the length of like text messages and such.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I have to then pull up the old, you're okay, here's the emojis, and then okay, find the one I want and put it in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's extra work. I don't need to do that. I'm kind of lazy on my texting.
Fair enough. At least you get back to it every once in a while.
I try, but I will say I am also guilty of a lot of times looking like when somebody texts me, I'll like read it and go, I don't need to respond. I just
That's why I never hear from you.
I mean,
I responded to him 6 years ago. It'll be fine.
that is how a lot of our conversations tend to go. Is you'll send me a text and I'll read it and I'll go, yeah, yes, interesting, and I'll just that's it. That's all you'll get out of me. I'm trying to see if I even had an example. Okay, yeah, I don't have a quick example on there.
Oh,
but
I thought you were typing one up for a second.
No. I'm talking to you. Why do I need to text you right now? Teeth.
I still have my teeth. I'm good. You don't need to text those over to me.
No, the model I'm currently painting, I just realized that I hadn't painted her mouth and she's got teeth. So got some white out here to just give her the old pearly whites. And I think we'll call her done. I believe.
Hello, Dunn. The man, the myth, legend, Mark Kidder here.
Actually, now that I look at it, there's a few little touch-up things I need to get.
Oh no!
So it's the way it goes. It's the way it goes. Yeah. You take anything like this and you look at it and you go, "Oops, I missed this detail or I missed that detail." Hey, since we're speaking of hobby, Kidder.
Yeah.
In one of our last episodes, I talked about how we keep talking about American Truck Simulator.
Hell yeah!
And how like our trucking content seems to be doing pretty well, and how if I'm not careful, you guys will be bugging me to be more involved with it. And I made a comment about, maybe I'll build a truck model kit on the show. Well, Kidder, when I was coming home from work tonight, I was like, you know what? Let me stop at the old Hobby Lobby and see what they got for truck model kits. Because maybe I'll do that. And of course, I'm a completionist kind of guy, so I looked at what they had, and what I didn't know, because I haven't built a truck model kit before. But on most of these, you have to buy two parts. You have to buy the cab as one piece, and then you have to actually buy the trailer as a second piece. And I looked at what they had. Kidder, it would have cost me like $80. To paint up a Brothers Blue semi truck. And I just said, nope. Not gonna do it. So that project is now on hold. So I couldn't quite believe just how expensive those kits were. But.
So what about a lower level project, maybe a Kickstarter or something like that? You can get in on the cost effective level of these things. The problem is that like there's just not a call that I have found for like model semi trucks on the old Kickstarter world. And if you find anything like that, it's usually like a 3D printing element. Like, hey, you can get these STL files and 3D print a semi truck. Not the most helpful in that sense. So we're just gonna have to wait, Kidder.
It's just how it goes. Also, well, since we're kind of on the trucking,
Yeah.
Kidder, as you know, last week we were surprised. Well, you knew because you're the one who set it up, but we were joined, at least in a sense, by one Rudeboy Kyle as he was playing.
Yeah.
And we got to see the whole. He took Going to Sun Road up to Logan Pass. Unfortunately for the audience, that happened after we finished the episode, so they didn't get to see that. So I'm working on putting together a video of that, Kidder, because I was kind of curious, like, after we talked about it, hey, how accurate was this? So I actually went into Google Earth and I actually pulled up Logan Pass, and Kidder, I got some things to show you.
Are you pulling a Wade Barrett and you've got some bad news?
No.
Oh. there she is. Yep.
Yeah. So, Kidder, one of the things that we commented on was the fact that we were curious if we could see the trails back behind. And I don't have I didn't grab a photo of the actual street view, but no, you actually can't from the road see any of the trails in the first place. So they actually got that right. But they actually did a very good job of capturing this area. But here's the interesting thing, Kidder, and the thing that I think you will enjoy the most. Because when he did this, you will recall that we both commented that the Logan Pass parking lot was far too empty.
Mm-hmm.
I know why it was empty in the game. And if you recall, and I'll for the audience, you'll get the actual remembrance of this because I'll pull it up at the same thing. If you go to the street view, there it is. And Kidder, right next to this red car is where you have to park the truck for the scenic view. So literally, they went to street view and looked at this and rebuilt this image in it.
Without the park ranger walking by.
Correct. But I was kind of
disappointing in that part because it must have been 6 o'clock in the morning when they came through, maybe 8.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculously early. But I mean, you can see, like I was saying back here, like you can't see the trail going up from behind. So I mean, they got that right, but that explains why their parking lot was empty and and then they have you park out here by this red car. So it was kind of an interesting thing to look at and go, wow, they actually, okay, I give them a lot of credit. That's a lot of detail, but I clearly could see where you're pulling up Google Street Views as you're creating some of your imagery. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. Thought it was worth sharing with you. And because, as I said,
okay, we have to go to the episode from last week to see the full video.
Well, again, no, because that's not going to make it in. But what it does mean that, hey, by the time you see this, if you go back in our videos, you will probably see a video about comparing American Truck Simulator to the real world, where you'll get to see the footage from Rudeboy Kyle, our reactions, and hey, probably this section of the podcast. So if you're watching that exact video and seeing this, you're welcome for the little bit of a spoiler. See, it pays to watch all of our content. You'll never know what you're going to get spoiled for you.
Like Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Or Ant-Man Quantumania.
I don't think we have spoiled either of those.
Probably not. But
yeah. Did you, well, yeah, because you've seen all of those.
Yep.
I don't know where I was going with that.
So you've seen them? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I did. You will laugh as you're trying to remember your train of thought. So Thor, Love and Thunder, that's the latest release in the Thor series. Happened to see that it was on sale at Best Buy. I was like, oh, this must have just been released. It's on sale. I'll buy it. I can get the exclusive Steel book, match the collection. I got it. Go onto my handy dandy phone here and pull up my app for cataloging all of my movies, and it's already in there. Now, unlike younger me who would receive said movie and then just rip it open out of excitement, I had not done that yet. So a couple days later, I drove my happy ass over to Best Buy and went, here you go. I didn't realize that I already own this because if I only had an app that would do that for me, and I had checked said app before I had ordered said product.
So there's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, well, the only thing wrong is that I don't need two of them.
Surprised they didn't what? You could always gift it to somebody. Surely you know somebody who needs to see Thor: Love and Thunder.
No, because it would end up on somebody's shelf behind his head in a podcast for about 30 years. Hey, did you watch that? I'll get to it.
We started to watch Wall-E tonight with the kids.
Oh.
We got about 30 minutes in. And then it was time for dinner, so is what it is.
So they made you stop?
We stopped. Yeah.
Hmm.
So might try to watch it with the kids later this week. Or weekend. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling after this show.
Probably feel like taking about a 12-hour nap.
That would be good. Probably not going to happen though.
In case you're curious, I'm looking at some of the different mods that are available for American Trucking Simulator. See what's new on the mod store, you know. See if there's something that I need, Rudeboy and I need to add, you know, something like that. Haven't come across anything really yet.
Are you guys still playing that pretty regularly, or does it kind of slow down some?
We've both been busy with other things, and so we haven't had time to hit the open road in a couple weeks. My gas pedal finger is itching for a drive.
I'm sure it is. Because you guys tend to play that pretty consistently. So
we did for a little bit there. We certainly did.
No, that's where's the color I'm looking for?
Right in front of you.
Yeah, it is. It's just I've fallen a little bit behind on putting my paints away. So if I go like that, you can kind of see. Hey, welcome to the upside down view. You can kind of see. Here, we'll fix it. Howard's got a ton of paint out, and so trying to find the exact paint I'm looking for is a bit of a challenge right now. I'll find it. Have you done any other gaming? I know you said you haven't been able to do truck simulating, but anything else been able to make it to your console?
No. Battlefield 2042 has a new update, a new season coming out, and I haven't really. I think I may have played one match of the last season, so it's been quite some time. It says there's a Raw skin and a SmackDown skin. I just searched WWE and the download or the mods, I guess you'd call them. It's in the workshop on Steam. WWE Raw trailer that you can then drive, just like you see in the background, or perhaps a WWE SmackDown trailer. Although they're a little old, because on the SmackDown trailer it has King Corbin and Sasha Banks as the women's champion.
Yeah, that is a little old.
They also have a Becky Lynch skin for one of the trucks. If you remember the last kicker truck. What was that, WrestleMania when she drove that?
I think so.
Even on this one, there's another skin for Kenworth truck that has Paige on one side and John Cena on the other. So nothing like being relevant.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Even though this game isn't even that old.
Well, you're in the modding community, so depending on maybe the person who's putting that together and maybe when they're a fan of certain gimmicks or things like that, you end up with like, hey, we're doing this truck because I liked King Corbin.
I mean, at least his music was great then.
That is true. They did do him kind of dirty with the getting rid of his music.
Definitely not happy as a result of that.
Yeah.
Now I'm sad. Such a good theme.
It was. It was a very good theme. It just goes to show that they, need to knock that off, kind of the changing of themes all the time.
Or come to us before they decide to change, and then we can approve or deny. Because clearly we know.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Oh. Well, here I was hoping. You can download a GPS for Darth Vader to tell you where to go.
That'd only really be cool if, like, every time, like, you miss your turn, instead of, like, recalculating, it just goes...
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
It's definitely possible.
Making it seem like you're always purposely, like, not trusting where to go or to follow him. Let's see. What else do we have that we can chat about? I know I put on the run sheet game shows. I think that was because there was something that you said in the last episode that's like, oh, game shows. Hey, just when, it's been a while since we've had somebody knock down the old door to the tavern.
Hey, what's happening, lads?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is one Rudeboy Kyle.
Hello.
He heard these two mother truckers talking about a sim, so
How are you guys tonight?
trucking along
Yeah, one way or another.
with about 18 flat tires. How about yourself, Rude Boy? What do you got going on over there?
Oh, just getting ready to have a little time off of work and do a little chillaxing, and can't think of a much better way than hanging out with you twos and driving wherever the trucks take us. So, how about you guys?
Last week, you have a special video to check out, so make sure you go back in time and watch that.
I'll be sure to.
Yeah. What kind of hibbity-bibbity is this?
We've been chatting Truck Simulator quite a bit lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like the combination of being able to concentrate to a point, but it also helps you zone out and relax. So I'd say it's a good thing to. I'd say if you like, there's plenty of areas. If you're talking technical type of driving, they have heavy haul and special cargo where you have to take turns that aren't really designed for a truck plus 100-foot trailer, and you're hauling a cargo that's being guided by an escort front and the back. But and then there's also the time where if you just want to go see some scenery, you can go do that too. So I remember not too long ago we were browsing Western Montana. So
We were talking about that actually not that long ago.
That's last week.
Yep.
You gotta go ahead back in time. Get the doctor. The doctor or Doc Brown. Is this the 50s or 1999? You know what I'm saying?
So how's the show been so far?
Oh, it's been a show.
Yeah.
The first half of the show, it was a bad import foreign dub because the interwebs were not on our side. No matter what we did.
Yeah, I had
Domo
And
arigato,
it-
Mr. Roboto.
Had an issue with the mobile internet with Verizon last night. It was late, but it was probably only about a 10-minute thing that it showed I had zero signal. So, but I wasn't the only one.
Otherwise, I think we're both just fighting a little bit of being tired. So,
Yeah, it's been a couple of months.
I'm not going to make another shirt. I'm sorry.
I'm not trying to make more merchandise, but yeah, there's been plenty that's going on, and just taking the opportunity to take some time off, and but it's good to be on the show again. And I'm waiting for the music to turn down on the game here, but
Huh?
what? Yeah.
What?
Well, yeah, it's what 2 cents can I add for American or Euro Truck Simulator?
Well, we ain't got nothing to worry about with the Euro trucks because they're driving on the wrong side of the road, and that means that's not American.
That's only in the UK, there, Mark.
Oh well, that's un-American.
And there are plenty more countries than just the UK in Euro Truck Simulator.
What?
and
Oh, I got him going.
Excuse me. I didn't want to get Mark too fired up too soon, but I'd say there are a lot more mods for LEDs in the Euro Truck Sim community. So there is that. But
sounds like another game that I would
although
get and then get 25% coverage and then just get pissed because I couldn't get 100%.
well, it's I'll say this, that if you're going for road coverage, that one is more generous than I don't think you have the Texas DLC yet, do you? For ATS?
That's a big no.
Yeah, that one specifically is we'll call it stingy with how they give you what you drive on. It's almost lane, well, I wouldn't say it's lane by lane, but direction of travel for that chunk of road. Just one of the minor gripes that people have had online, and there are times when it's like, just give me the completion for. I know there's some of us out there that are completionists, and it's like, I've driven this road before, but I haven't taken this exit before. Whereas sometimes it gives you that exit or the whole interchange. In Euro Truck Simulator, it's like, well, it's you have to be a little more thorough with your driving in ATS versus the Euro Truck Sim. But yeah,
I was trying to see if there's maybe a mod out there to assist in said driving, but I don't. Haven't come across one yet.
Yeah, unless you go find somebody else's game save, I think you might be out of luck. But yeah,
Hardwired.
self-destruct.
Maybe we should get the improved guardrails mod too.
What's wrong with the guardrails?
I don't know.
Who knows?
You don't know what you don't know.
That's true.
So I'm sending, and I made the executive decision there, Jaco, that I'm sending Rudeboy on location on assignment for us 1 week ago as of this airing. SmackDown live from Des Moines. So he's got to go and give us the true atmosphere. Give us what's happening there.
I'll be watching. I'll be watching it live, loud, and on location as
in
best
the
I can.
backyard.
I turned down the game volume. Yeah, it's the mix between
Hot
me-
Mike.
me hearing you guys versus see, master volume. We'll set that about
Master.
50%. See if that's any better.
Yeah, we were really hoping you'd be able to go down there and rub elbows or drop elbows with the superstars, get some photos, some autographs.
Well, if the kind viewers of the show would be willing to make a generous contribution to help pave my way to make that happen, then there might be a situation that I might be able to make that happen. But
We'll get you your $25 back.
I don't know who donated that.
Some guy, LZ.
Some guy.
Good times.
So what
If only-
you painting tonight, Howie?
Well, I'm trying to finish up just a collection of models on my table. So far, I got 3 ready to be sealed. So we got a Minotaur here. Let's see if we can get it.
Nice.
So he's all done, ready to be coated. We got a little dwarf character, all done. Again, ready to be sealed.
Do you do a hand painted seal, or do you do like a spray just to cover things?
I have a matte varnish resin that I paint on.
Oh, okay, so you do the hand sealing as well.
Yep. Got this
Okay.
little cloth golem guy.
Nice.
He's all done. And then I'm just finishing up some details on a skeleton Minotaur. So should have, at the end of this, 4 models done. So
Very good.
I'm just going in and highlighting metal. So it's trying not to screw it up, because it's like, I am almost done with this thing. And you missed this, but I'll rehash it. I did tell Kidder, because we've been talking truck simulators so much. I said, I might have to, you guys are going to be bothering me to start playing the game. I said, maybe my contribution will be I'll go out and buy a model kit for an 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
And then assemble that. And I went and I looked at them today, and to get an actual 18-wheeler plastic model kit with both the cab and the trailer was like $88 to like $90.
Wow.
And I'm like, nope.
Do they sell just the trucks?
They sell just the cab.
Okay.
So I could get just the cab, but I'm a bit of a completionist. It's like, if I'm going to do the whole cab, I might as well
Yeah.
do the whole thing.
There's so many different trailers that you can choose from, though. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that if you're a fan of a particular truck or the look of a truck, sometimes you can go for. I know some people are loyal to the Peterbilts or the Max or the. Oh, let's see, we got Volvos.
Western Star.
The Western Star.
I looked. I just was like, no, nothing I'm gonna pull the trigger on right now.
Sure.
I have enough things to kind of occupy myself with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I at least took a look. It was
In a book?
Take a look. Do you check out like what's your preferred source of plastic models for? You have a local store in mind, or like a Hobby Lobby, or online?
I just went to Hobby Lobby. It was on my drive home. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
kind of
there you go.
like, I can stop in and take a look.
Mhm.
But Hobby Lobby's selection is not that great really anymore.
Yeah.
When it comes to the model stuff, it's a bunch of cars, like a few airplanes.
Sure.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, I've kind of noticed that every now and then when I go back to Hobby Lobby. It's maybe once or twice a year, and it's like you can find a greater selection on sometimes the local hobby shops or online. So
Yeah, and I looked a little bit online, but I didn't find anything, at least in the like maybe 10, 15 minutes I was looking
yeah.
when I got home. But it'll be a project.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh yeah, I see what you're talking about. I just browsing a couple of websites here. Those just the cabs. Some of them are reaching triple digits asking
Yeah.
price. It's like,
and my thing with like I don't buy a lot of those model kits because there's not a use for them, like except to put them up on display.
yep.
So if I buy model kits like that, I try to look for certain scales that work within the games and such that I play.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that way it's like, yes, I'm going to paint this thing, but then I also get a piece of terrain that I can use in a game or
Mm-hmm.
so.
Yeah, you want to make it worth the investment.
Right. And so like even then, like a lot of the car models are too big of scale for like the miniatures and such that I have. So
Yeah. Well, here's a 125th Revell Kenworth 900 Aerodyne tractor, the 125th scale, 115 piece, skill level 4. 12 years old and up recommended for $37 and change.
yeah.
So some of them you probably get for an okay price on the interwebs, but yeah.
Yeah. It just kind of depends.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there are fewer and fewer people who like to sit and do those sorts of models.
Yep. Yeah, they've become more scarce, I'd say, because the stock doesn't move, and you also need the dedication, supplies, and time to do it. So
Right. And even then, like I find people when you get into that community,
mm-hmm.
you're kind of like one of three things. You're either the guy who just, like myself, likes to paint models. You're going to have kind of free artistic will with it.
Yeah.
You have the kid who's just going to like, oh, cool, a car. And they're going to paint it with, kid skills. So it's going to be a little sloppy, but, they're having fun with it. And then you have the guys who are like, I'm going to make and paint and, do all the work on this model to make it as historic and accurate as I can, Yeah,
you have the purists that, like yourself, that do the hand painting, and then the whole airbrush market. So it's that's a whole other dimension of adding color to your miniatures. So.
Yeah, and I will probably never go the airbrush route.
Mm-hmm.
Can they be handy with some things? Sure, but I don't know. To me, I do this to relax.
Yep.
I enjoy the process, so to me, I'd rather sit and continually fiddle with stuff and with brushes, and yes, take longer to do some of these, but I'm much happier with the results.
Yeah.
But there are even people who will, when you get into like the world of like competitive display miniatures, it's not uncommon for them to spend hours on some of these things. And I mean, when I say hours, I mean like hundreds of hours.
Oh yeah.
For a showpiece. And I think I've timed out, at least with some of the stuff I do, at about 8 hours a miniature.
Yeah. There's a lot of variety in the detail, and what was it? Back in middle school and high school, I got big into the model rockets. Even with that, customizing a rocket that had only just a set of decals. You could paint it as it was advertised, or you could throw on whatever kind of design that suits your heart. And you can start masking off and deciding to throw a custom paint job. So it was something that during our 5th grade, the end of the year kind of celebration day of the end of the year, our 5th grade class, we all had model rockets, and I wanted to build a perfect rocket that went up. So it was something that my dad and I got into it, and you start with lower powered engines that you could see the whole flight pretty easy, and then you get to the point where you're launching above the trees, worrying about the wind. That brings back good memories. There's one time we launched one at a local park, and it got stuck or drifted in its parachute phase into a tall cottonwood, and my dad and I had to go grab a rope and tape a baseball to the end of the rope and throw it up and basically hook a branch and snap a branch off the tree in order to retrieve the rocket. Because the way the rockets are built is, if you're good enough with the launch accuracy, launch angle, and playing the wind just right, you can reuse them as long as the rocket held up. With minor repairs, it performed as good as the rocket would, or as good as the engine would let you go. So I know the struggle with the painting and the hobbies, and I want to make more time to get back into it. So
Yeah, I still have down here in the cave. I have our model rocket collection.
Oh, there you go.
Because we did that as kids as well.
Yeah,
And including I have a couple of homemade ones as well.
What size engine do you guys usually use?
You know, we haven't done it in a while, but I think like the biggest we ever did was like a D engine.
Yep. Yeah.
Was biggest we ever went.
I remember in 5th grade for the school project was the maximum size engine for our rockets was an A, and I had to talk my teacher into number one, me not building the rocket that came with the class, because everybody was kind of a variation of the same plastic fin setup, and I was like, hey, I want to do one where I can build it with help from my dad and a B engine, if you will. And I was like, he's like, okay. So he talked to my parents, and I got the sign off on that. So it was something that I was like, well, can I be like the last one, be like the grand finale type thing? And he's like, well, I suppose. So but it was a lot of fun, because we just took it out to the baseball field, and everybody launched off, and brought my rocket ready to launch to class. Being the responsible adult, our 5th grade teacher was wanting to do the electric launch from a remote distance, about 10-15 feet. Whereas my dad and I had always launched with just cutting like a fireworks fuse and just sticking it in the engine with the plug instead of
Super safe.
Well, it was something that we'd cut a probably 3 or 4 inch length of fuse, and we had no problem lighting it, and it'd give us maybe 5 seconds to back away, and
bang.
That one did not get the sign off from the 5th grade teacher. So
yeah, we always used the remote start on ours.
Yeah, we always thought that the I don't want to call them glow plugs, because that's for gas engines. But it's something that we always thought they were just so cheap, and it was another expense, where my dad had a couple 100 feet worth of fireworks fuse or whatever in the garage, and he's like, well, the rockets are the The kits come with a whole bunch of things, or even you could stick a small stick to wedge the fuse into the end of the engine, and as long as it ignites, that's the ultimate goal. So we had better luck with the firework fuse or firework type of igniter than just using the electric one, because they go, you got to worry about batteries, and now you got to worry about this thing turning on and turning a key, and they're
anything.
yeah. So it was a little more jerry-rigged way, but it was something that we enjoyed the excitement of getting the rocket set up and putting the small 3 or 4 inch fuse in, and then stuffing it in, and then lighting it and running 20 feet away so we're safe. And
No, it'll definitely be when Junior gets a little bit older. I'll get to introduce him to some of that. So
oh yeah,
I'm sure he'll enjoy it.
there's a photo opportunity nearby.
In case you couldn't tell, Rude Boy is got the wheels on the road. Oh, he's off-roading right now, but
Yeah, it's outside of Colorado Springs. Well, my mouse doesn't want to move, so I'll use the controller.
if it isn't one damn thing, it's another.
All right. Well, I got the photo moment. I don't need my mouse to drive.
Photograph. Rude Boy wants a photograph. North Dakota, but she not in the game yet.
No, they're working on. Let's see. I think Oklahoma will be their next DLC release, and then they've also advertised that they're working on Kansas as the further addition to the game. So, working our way slowly eastward. I'm hoping that they could do like a Dakotas, Minnesota, and Iowa pack, because that would add a good chunk of the map. But they've been working on supplementing and updating the look of their existing game as well by adding sort of a intermediary. They've added the Truckee connection between Sacramento and Reno recently, and then some city reworks that make them a little more authentic. So if you're from the area, you're getting a better feel for it. But I still have plenty to explore in Colorado, so I'll just maybe kind of tinker around this area.
Boy,
I would like Vegas to be expanded. I mean, even Denver. Larger cities like that, make them bigger. But
yeah,
it is a game.
It's interesting because I think, like, I read online how if you're in an urban area or a city area, the scale of driven road in the game to real world is actually smaller than if you're in a rural area. Nope, don't hit those rocks. So I'm not sure, you don't know where the cutoff is, but it's something that if you're at a city area, you could drive 60 miles an hour for 1 minute and you'll cover less distance than you would if you were out in the sticks, which I think helps make the cities feel a little bit bigger. But then it also gives you the impression that if you have to go on a 1,200 mile trip and you're only going through the occasional city, that it goes by a little bit quicker.
How do you feel about that, Howard?
I mean, I've never been a big city driver guy anyway, so whatever.
Mark, have you discovered the racetrack in Arizona yet?
No, I saw that you got a couple of Chivos for heading on over there, but I had not gone the Arizona way.
Yeah. That one is That's a fun one to kind of test out your truck's racing performance, if you will.
And what do you do at said racetrack? You just get on the racetrack?
Well, you can put in. It's. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can go over there. Truck racing circuit. It is just. Oh, it's just outside of Tucson.
Of course it is.
I'd say it's more fun if you have the ability to race with other people because there's nobody that goes outside the map. Like, i.e., racing other people. But we'll head over there and I'll show it to you and see what you think. I thought it was kind of entertaining, but it's like one of those Easter egg type things that's incorporated into the game that it's fun the first time you try it, and then unless you have other people to race, it's kind of like, well, you have to earn money, and you're always burning gas as you race around the track. So I wonder if there's a mod to add a timing device to the racetrack.
That's all you need.
Yeah. Or you could have a trailers-only exclusive event. You have to pull a trailer around the track.
Turn signal sounded a little jacked up there.
Oh.
Your truck okay?
It's doing all right.
Did you throw a little something else in the gas tank there? Diesel tank, sorry. Throw a little something extra.
Well, what I like about the new Volvo, it seems to have I guess they recorded the engine sounds within the past year or so. They've been teasing the truck, so it's just got a different sound to it. Let me roll down the windows. You get a better idea of how it sounds from the cab. I just think it has a more authentic truck sounding. Let's see, we gotta go through this detour here. There's construction going on. But just outside the construction, you'll find a purpose-built truck racetrack. Like Need for Speed Underground Truck Series. And there's actually a job right here. Right at the end of the site. Yeah, you can pick up a job. So let's see, what do they have here? Oh, mobile barrier. That makes sense. Taking her out to Fresno. But I'm not going to do that job.
Pick it up and set the clock back and do your race.
You get into this pre-paved area that looks like it's supposed to be a road that connects to the main city. But there's hardly any paint. There's a guardrail. But then you come up on the brow of this hill here, and there's this this racetrack with a full service center off the left here, a gas station where you can refuel.
A wild, wacky, waving, inflatable, flailing arb tube man.
Let's see, there's a couple of dirt bikes there, the whole picnic area. And then, let's see, SCS off race circle. Racer wanted. If you can read this, you are in range. So we've got the crazy
Wild,
used
wacky,
car lot
waving,
guys.
inflatable, flailing arb tube man.
Yeah, let's go this way. So you can join the track, and then you start under the start gate and take her for a ride. They got trucks on display over to the left over there, just like they would at your local truck dealership. But it gives you a little more space to knock some bumpers if you get a couple of friends to come race along and test out the performance. And then we're at the end of the track there. So it's a quick minute or so.
Do you get any Chivos for it?
I think for discovering the racetrack, you do. But yeah, I'd be interested to see if people actually make any of the times competitive or not. But helps you test your racing line a little bit, and
Because that's important in the semi-truck simulator.
professional racing semi-truck simulator.
Well, Howard, you got any other places Rude Boy needs to travel to?
Not off the top of my head, no. And truthfully, Kidder, we've been talking for quite a while. It's about time we
About that time.
about that time that we bring this show to a close. And of course, to do that, everybody knows we do a little bit of cheap plugs here at the end of the show.
It's Rude Boy waving the white flag for the final lap. So, so we should probably get our own end. So yeah, beerbluesbs.com, our website, beerbluesbs.com. On the website, you got everything Triple B, including who we are, even who Rude Boy is, our emails, contact info, how you can buy us a beer or a round, perhaps. We'd love if you would. And also our merch store right at the top of the page. Click the merch text, and it'll take you there. Get some sweet, sweet clothes. We'd love for you to do that. Or perhaps shower curtain. That's there too. Again, beerbluesbs.com. As for everywhere else, we're on all of the social medias and everything in between. From the video versions of this on YouTube, go to youtube.com/beerbluesbs. You can also listen to us on the YouTube podcasts through the YouTube podcasting app. But we'd love for you to subscribe and click the thumbs up on our videos. Aside from that, we're Facebook and Instagram. Facebook.com/beerbluesbs or Instagram.com/beerbluesbs. Or just go up to the search bar, smash the text in there, Beer, Blues, and BS. Please click the thumbs up. Please share the episodes. Rude Boy is needing that to get to see some wrestling. So help us out. Help him. Help us. We do appreciate it. We're also on streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs, where you can see the store there. And when you see the store, you can donate or purchase some other t-shirts and whatnot. Maybe even on our regular merch store, maybe a pint glass for the perfect old-fashioned. As you can see, there's no cherry in that glass. So you can do that, beerbluesbs.com. Click merch or the traditional, wonderful Triple B pint glass, the standard design, beerbluesbs.com. Please like, share, subscribe. We do appreciate it on all of the places. And if you have any of the audio podcasting platforms, please click subscribe for free on all of them. We are on Spotify, YouTube, of course, as I mentioned. We're on iHeartRadio, Pandora, Stitcher, TuneIn, IMDb, Player FM, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and yes, Amazon Podcasts as well. Other than that, well, we do appreciate you joining us for this and every episode of Beer, Blues, and BS. Rude Boy Kyle, any parting thoughts as you're cruising?
Well, it's good to do a little late show invasion and show you a little bit of where I've been exploring the virtual USA and the trucking world, and hope to be back soon and give my 2 cents on whatever BS you guys are talking about.
About Tree Fitty.
Yeah.
Howard Blues. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I need to do a better job of being prepared for final thoughts. But
Cop out.
yeah, well, I mean, and listen, I still only running on like 5.5 hours of sleep. So
I've only got 3.
That's
Welcome
So-
to the club.
yeah. Did you work a 19-hour shift yesterday too?
19 hours, no, but I did do what was it? 14.
That's
I'll say between yesterday morning and overnight into this morning. So
yeah.
we're
So-
not handing out trophies anytime soon. So
No, it's
Oh,
not a competition.
Did you
Not a
want a trophy?
competition.
You want a trophy? Here's a
there
trophy
you go.
for you.
Here's your trophy. Right
Here's your
here.
trophy.
Yeah. Not a competition. It's
Nope.
just
Oh yeah,
just
Oh,
yeah.
we're in it for the long haul.
thought Howard wanted to hand out a trophy.
No.
Oh,
No.
well,
You got 5 hours of sleep. I got 3 hours.
you both got one. So there, deal with it.
Virtual trophy for June of 23.
Add it
The
to the
least,
shelf
the
behind you,
least
rude boy.
sleep, the least sleep award.
One of these days, Kidder, I'm just going to actually just make a video sequence of you handing out a trophy.
Mm.
And then every time that you do, this bit about giving out a trophy, I'm just going to put that in.
Sure.
So animate it once.
Mm-hmm.
Only ever have to use it one more time, again. So even like you'll just change shirts when you start doing it. I won't have any
Yeah.
actual audio. It'll just be like the audio from whatever the episode is, but it'll just be that image of you.
Hey, whatever works. I mean, I think you need a trophy for that too. So congratulations. Appreciate that. Good job with the graphics design work on that. Handing out trophies left and right. It's good stuff.
With that, Kidder, I need a graphics for.
Oh, we're gonna need an actual physical trophy to hand to each other. Over
That costs money.
Oh, anything's
Yeah.
possible.
We're running low budget on this thing.
We'll go with the graphics until we can get an actual trophy that we'll be able to send to each of us.
Holy
And,
crap. Hopefully
that'll
you're
be
flying it up here because the shipping cost on that every week is going to be astronomical.
Yeah.
Well, all we got to do, Kidders, it's garage sale season. We just got to go around to garage sales, pick up a bunch of really cheap trophies that people are trying to get rid of, do a little bit of modding on them to make it fit, our aesthetic for this show, and then we just send all of our usual, guests a trophy, and then that way they always just have one.
There you go.
Thanks for not participating.
I might be able to repurpose some of my my trophies from back in my baseball and hockey days, but yeah.
Oh no.
We could get the local geek to print us out a few more, bottles, attach those to them. See, this plan's coming together.
It's all good ideas.
There's
Yeah.
something coming together, and it's definitely not the cohesiveness of this show. So I suppose for another day, evening, and another week, I suppose we'll get the hell on out of here. So thanks for joining us for this edition of Beer, Blues, and BS. We appreciate you being there. Remember, keep your glass at least half full. There's free beer tomorrow, and we will catch you on down that Goodyear tire-ridden Tucson highway. Have yourself a good one. We'll catch you on the next Beer, Blues, and BS.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty. UA Productions presents A Glimpse Behind the Curtain.
Remember, keep the glass at least half full. There's free beer tomorrow, and we will catch you on down that Goodyear tire-ridden Tuscan Highway. Have yourself a good one to catch you on the next Beer, Blues, and BS. And weekdays, Monday through Friday, that is, noon to 3 Central Time on 96.5, The Walleye.
Yeah, they didn't pay for a sponsorship, Kidder.
It's getting cut.
Oh, you're getting paid?
Yet to receive his first paycheck, maybe.
I have to bring that up because every time I mention somebody that's a company, Kidder, they're not our sponsor. They're not.
Yeah.
That's what we call trade in the business because we have our website on their website.
That's showbiz, baby.
I know. I just that was the low hanging fruit of a joke. I had to make it.
Yeah.
It was
there for the grabbing.
Scratch my back, I scratch your back. You know what I mean? You come out to Walmart, get a coconut smoke. That's what we're going to have here.
It would have been one of those, if I didn't make it, then poor future Howard would get to that point and go, why didn't I say that? That happens quite often where I'm like, oh.
I've never heard of the walleye before, but I listened to this podcast one time. They recommended it. Man, I listen to that thing 24/7 now.
It's all about the music.
It only takes one listener.